The late 1900s saw a revival of the classical theory and an enhanced interest in using deterrence as a policy instrument to control crime. The deterrence theory was based on the principles of the classical theory of crime. In this chapter, we shall be examining the fundamentals of deterrence theory, including concepts of specific and general deterrence, Stafford and Warr's reconceptualization of deterrence theory, and Cornish and Clark's version of rational choice theory. Explanations of crime focus on factors that constrain individuals to commit crime: disorganized communities, delinquent peers, strain, etc. These theories portray that crime is a result of forces beyond the individual's choice. The theories range from social disorganization theory to differential association theory to strain theory. This deterministic view of crime has dominated crime theory since the late 1800s. It primarily focuses on the external factors that determine the behavior of individuals affected by the driving factors. This is in contrast with the classical theory, which was popular in the late 1700s and throughout 1800s. The classical theory views man as a rational person and postulates that individuals engage in crime based on consideration of cost and benefits associated with the crime. They engage in crime to maximize their net benefits, which is basically the difference between the benefits and the cost. This idea has been expanded in the recent decades through the deterrence theory and the rational choice theory. The deterrence theory is based on the rationality of a person in choosing to commit a crime. If the benefits of pleasures is greater than the pains of doing the criminal act, then the person would choose to do the crime. For example, if a person believes that he can commit a theft of a car without getting caught and undergo punishment, then he would make an attempt at it. On the other hand, if he knows that the chances of getting caught is very high, then he may avoid the crime because the pains of undergoing long will not be attractive. The deterrence theory is very similar to the ideas of the 18th century classical theorist Cesare Beccaria. The theory postulates that crime can be prevented if punishments can be given swiftly, certainly, and with appropriate severity. What this requires is that the time span between the act of crime and punishment awarded for it should not be long. The chances of the crime being detected should be very high so that the certainty of the accused being caught is very high. And the punishment awarded should be of the appropriate level of severity, not too harsh nor too lenient. Because of the various factors, including its simplicity and the ease with which it could be converted into policy, deterrence theory became very popular after the 1970s. In the United States, policies such as the broken window policing theory and Bill Bratton's Comstat policing in New York, the use of the three strikes law, and severe measures such as the trial of serious juvenile offenders in adult courts are examples of how deterrence theory informed criminal justice policy. The adoption of deterrence theory in the criminal justice system in the United States was largely at the cost of rehabilitation theory, which recommended reforming a person who had committed crime and helping him to lead a life away from crime. Deterrence theory differentiates between specific deterrence and general deterrence, which will be discussed in detail in the coming slides. Specific deterrence refers to the idea that punishment reduces crimes committed by offenders. This would imply that if a person is caught committing a specific crime and she is punished for it, the chances of her committing such crimes in the future would be reduced. It would basically mean that the punishment given to a person would make her aware of the costs of her action and therefore would avoid the person would avoid the pains in future through a cost and benefit analysis using past experience. Though deterrence theory was easy to conceptualize and easily implemented as policy, which resulted in it becoming a popular policy instrument, the finding of its effectiveness were ambiguous. The theory itself posited that deterrence depended on the correct severity of punishment, the swiftness of punishment, and the certainty of punishment. There have been studies examining the impact of deterrence theory. It was seen that merely increasing severity of punishment was not more effective at reducing crime and does not reduce criminal behavior. The impact of swiftness of punishment is related to psychological studies on animals, which suggest that the speed of punishment results in association of the criminal act with the punishment, therefore reducing criminal behavior. However, such association has not been seen in humans, and studies have shown that swiftness of punishment does not reduce subsequent offending. Some studies have examined whether individuals who have been arrested or convicted were less likely to commit crimes in the future. Studies have indicated that arrested or convicted people do not have a lower crime rate subsequent to punishment. These studies, therefore, do not support the concept that certainty of punishment could have an impact on criminal behavior. While some studies have not supported certainty, severity, and celerity of punishment on future criminal behavior, there are reasons why punishments do not deter people. One of the important reasons is that most criminal acts are not rational, and people do not commit crimes after clearly weighing out the cost and benefit of committing a crime. Often crimes are committed impulsively, such as a young person seeing a vehicle that can be easily stolen and taking it away quickly, or due to emotional reasons such as thoughtless violent acts if a person feels that he has been insulted. Crimes are also committed due to peer pressure or being under strain. Another reason why punishments may not impact criminal acts in the future and on the contrary may increase propensity to crime in a person is due to the increased strain on a person who has been punished. The strain could be due to social ostracism, labeling, and greater difficulty to find stable jobs if one has a criminal record. Punishment and time in jail or prison may also result in increased learning of crime and psychological transformation, which may result in normalization of criminal behavior. This can also result in reduced social control by families and larger community. Another reason for the lack of impact of punishment on future criminal behavior is that the certainty of punishment is very low. It may undermine the deterrent effect of punishment. Even if caught and punished, once the person may feel that the chances of the law catching up is low and therefore may commit more crimes. It can therefore be seen that while deterrence and specific deterrence are very good concepts, its real impact on society is not yet unambiguously clear. General deterrence is the idea that punishment of an offender deters crime among the people in the general population. This would mean that if an offender is caught and punished in society, it would send a larger message to others who may have propensity to commit crime that they too might be caught and punished if they commit a crime. This sense of deterrence that comes in the general population would result in the reduction of crime rates. Have been many studies conducted to study the impact of general deterrence. The studies were conducted in a particular area such as a county or a city limits. Hence, it is assumed that the two factors of certainty and severity of punishment would impact the general population. The certainty of punishment is measured in terms of arrest rates and the severity in terms of the prison sentence. It is then statistically examined whether these two variables would have an impact on the crime rates in the area. Deterrence theory and general deterrence in particular have influenced public policy to a large extent. There have been severe criticisms of the theory. One of the first criticisms is that it is assumed that most people are aware of certainty and severity of punishment in the area. This assumption may be wrong as people may not have a clear idea of the levels of certainty and severity of punishment in the community that they live in. On the other hand, it is more of an individual perception of severity and certainty that impacts individual propensity to commit crimes than the actual levels of severity and certainty of punishment. Studies have shown that increasing the certainty of punishment has a moderate impact in reducing crime levels in a community. However, it is less important than other factors such as individual personal beliefs regarding the need of lawful behavior and the control exercised by family and near community. Studies have shown little or no impact of reduction of crime due to increasing levels of severity of punishment compared to certainty of crime. Severity of punishment has much lesser impact. Another criticism of general deterrence theory is that the impact of punishment on the larger population is short-lived. Effect of punishment given months and years ago would be less compared to the impact of punishment given in the recent past. Similarly, punishment given to offenders at a geographical distance from the community would have lesser impact than the punishment given in the community or nearer to the community. To sum up, it can be seen that certainty of punishment has a moderate impact of reducing crime in an area. The impact can substantially increase if certainty of punishment is increased. Severity of punishment has little or no impact. The effect of general deterrence is generally short-lived and confined to the area where the punishment is given. The concept of deterrence, both specific deterrence and general deterrence, was challenged by a research paper by Stafford and Warr. They introduced the concept of punishment avoidance. Punishment avoidance refers to whether an individual who had committed an offense had avoided being punished and whether the individual was aware of others who had committed crimes and had avoided punishment. They argue that for a complete understanding of deterrence, we not only have to measure the direct experience of being punished, specific deterrence, and knowledge of others being punished, which is general deterrence, but also measure the indirect and direct experience with punishment avoidance. The experience of punishment avoidance can be measured by asking whether the person had avoided punishment for a crime committed, and secondly, whether he was aware of others who had avoided punishment for their crimes. The total estimate from the four variables would give a good measure of deterrence. Stafford and Warr therefore contributed to the understanding of deterrence by adding to the concept of general and specific deterrence the concept of punishment avoidance, which includes the direct and indirect experience of punishment avoidance.